Oh, hey Michelle, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. It's end of a Friday today, so I'm very getting the weekend vibes going, you
Woohoo.
know.
I know. So happy.
Now, a question I ask everybody is, how do you like your coffee in the morning?
So I'm going to be the one guest that you have that tells you that I don't drink coffee. I wake up alert and pretty happy.
I
This is
mean,
the way I wake up, which is very annoying to a lot of people.
yeah, tell me your secret. Well, to be honest, I think that's what we're going to dive into today, isn't it? There's one of your missions and messages is always about keeping healthy, exercise, no matter what age you're at. And I'm sure, I'm confident that will be a factor to why you wake up happy and energetic. So, Michelle, tell me more about what it is that you do and why do you do it?
I think of myself as a remedial CrossFitter. I kind of joke, but I've been CrossFitting about 11 years, but I'm not great at it. But I love it so much that it inspired me to start a small business called Ageless Athletics. And Ageless Athletics is clothing and shirts that are designed for middle-aged CrossFitters, um, so that they will recognize that they are never too old to be healthy, fit, and strong. And so all of my shirts have a play on the word age. So a lot of them say ageless, but some of them say vintage. So the word age is in the word that's on the shirt. And I have another shirt that says iron age because we lift heavy weights. So I'm constantly trying to kind of think of new shirts and ways to play on that. But I just want to inspire middle agers, people that are like 45 and older to work out and try to stay healthy.
No, I love it. And why is that important to you, for you to really go so much into this message that you've built a whole business around it?
So it actually came from the fact that my IG handle was middle-aged CrossFitter. And there was not a lot of other middle agers CrossFitting with me. There was a few, but not a ton. And I was like, there's got to be other people out there that are working out. And so I felt like it was just a good way for me to kind of start spreading the word. And it just inspired me to try to reach other people. And to be honest, about the time that I kind of was doing that on Instagram, I became a member of WOD Prep. I was like one of the OG members of WOD Prep Masters. It used to be called WOD Prep Plus initially. And so I mean, it all just kind of happened at the right time. And so I met all of these other people that were middle aged. And so that actually kind of helped launch my business and helped it get seen in other countries and that kind of thing.
Amazing. And now people listening is the connection between me and Michelle is I am the head of marketing for WordPrep. We're
Woohoo!
gonna give him a little bit of a
Shout
shout
out.
out.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is it. That is the one of my favorite things. I don't really get to talk about WordPrep that much, but one of my favorite things is that community base, that community of athletes. And I've always said, my personal belief is if you're doing exercise and you're doing sports, try and do it as part of a community and do some kind of exercise that you love. And that's what I'm hearing from you is you love CrossFit and you're absolutely seeking that community to bounce off, to talk with, to discuss ideas, and then you've brought it into your own brand.
Right. And one interesting thing is that whenever I first started Ageless, um, so the first thing I did was I wanted to kind of, I guess I was kind of testing the market without realizing it, but I was like, okay, I'll make 25 shirts and let's just see what happens. So actually a lot of people from my, gym bought obviously. But I asked Ben if I could share it on WOD Prep Plus. I asked his permission because it was his business and he said, sure. And so I did. And I had people buy my very first shirt from Norway, Japan. I still see people wearing it from there. So, WOD Prep was crucial in helping my business, and I really appreciate Ben allowing me to do that. Um, and so, I've really never had to talk about it again on there because I have people that are now loyal customers who love that message. It's the message and that community
Mm.
feeling, I think, is that's what people like about it.
And since then, so going from the 25 shirts to getting your first international sales, what's been the journey so far?
So, by profession, I'm a nurse practitioner and I work with a weight loss surgeon. So, like if you've ever seen the show My 600-Pound Life, those are the kind of patients that I work with. So, I kind of feel like a lot of my personal passion is intertwined with my actual profession because I feel that I need to live a healthy lifestyle. If you're a healthcare provider and you're not living a healthy lifestyle, how can you tell people that they need to live a healthy lifestyle? I feel like I should
Mm.
exemplify that. So, um, in doing all of that, it helps. It kind of leads into what I do, in my personal life as far as CrossFit. And so it's been kind of a journey because as a nurse practitioner, I don't know anything about business. I mean, I've had to learn everything kind of on my own or by kind of looking at other businesses, talking with other people who own small businesses. And there's a lot of CrossFit businesses that are very well known, but to be able to talk to the people that own them so you can get ideas and, how do I handle this? I mean, a lot of it's just trial and error. So I'm not a business expert by any means, but it's amazing what you can learn if you just keep trying, kind of like in CrossFit, if you
It,
just keep showing up.
yeah, there is a ton of parallels about between trying to get really good at sports and really good at exercise and the parallels of trying to get good at business. I always say it's the infinite game. There's no end point. You're never gonna get to the finish line uh of a sport or finish line of a business. So you just got to keep chipping away. Like, what am I going to get better at today, or what am I going to improve on tomorrow, and just keep going. And
Yeah,
so
and
you,
you're gonna fail sometimes. Like I've already, had a couple of things that I was like, ugh, but as long as it's not a $10,000 fail or a $100,000 fail, you just have to kind of go with the flow and just sometimes just let things go and say, okay, that didn't work, and I have to move on to the next thing.
so speaking of failures, because I think they are so important as into business. And like you said, if you can do smaller fails, it's
Yeah,
less impactful.
less painful.
It's certainly a lot less painful. Now, if you don't mind us going into this, what were some of those fails that you've learned from?
Okay, so I'll tell you a recent fail. So, so this is kind of it's sharing a lot, but so while I was at the CrossFit Games, I was talking to a manufacturer about making some shorts for Ageless. Okay,
Mhm.
and so I was kind of telling them what I want, and I had them kind of modeled after another pair that I had, but I wasn't totally clear about the exact type of material. Okay,
Okay.
so I ordered 50 pairs of shorts, and I
Okay.
forgot to get a sample. You should never do that. And I've
Oh,
done I mean, I had bras made before, I got samples, like, smart, but for some reason, I think because I was kind of doing this while I was at the CrossFit Games, I just got
yeah.
kinda cloudy? Anyway,
Got
so I
got
got my
hyped up
50
in the
right,
excitement of being at the games and being with all these athletes and
yeah,
vendors and everything.
right. So I got my 50 pairs of shorts. They're not terrible, but they're not exactly what I wanted. So I'm having to work with the manufacturer, and I have 50 pairs of shorts. That I'm not sure they're not what I would like, but everybody's different. Some people like more looser fitting shorts and some people like more compressive shorts. I personally like compressive shorts. That's just how I am. And these are a little bit looser to me. So you would almost have to size down a little bit. But
Mhm.
because they're not the exact standard, they're sitting on my dining room table right now because I'm not really quite sure what to do with them. And that's part of learning is like figuring out, okay, I can't be the only person who's done this, right? Fortunately, it's only like a $400 mistake. And in business, when you think about the overall thing, you have to think, okay, it's $400. You know, how will I handle it? At least it's not $10,000 mistake,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, that's kind of what I learned. And I've had bras made and got a sample of it. And I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, I think I was just so excited to be at the games and anyway, so it's a lesson learned as far as like, okay, you have to be exactly specific in the exact type of material, things like
Yeah.
that. It's the details, it's all in the details. And you have to really you got to pay attention sometimes to what you're doing. And so that's my, I don't want to say it's a fail, but it's something I'm kind of having to figure out right now.
Well, let's go into it a little bit. Okay, so because it's like you said, it's a small mistake. Because you know you've just gone. "Ah, I should have known better on that one." Um,
Right.
but so you've got 400 pairs of shorts. Can you
50,
just
50 pairs of shorts.
sorry
50.
50 sorry four yeah
Yeah,
$400 worth of shorts,
that's all right.
50 units. And when you say so are they for female shorts?
Yes, they're like, little booty shorts,
Oh, okay,
like two and a
okay.
half inches, that kind of short. And they're nice. They're just not exactly the way that I wanted them.
Yeah. I mean, in my head, what I'm hearing is like, so I am also one of the target markets who just lives in gym booty shorts all the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, the compression, the tighter versions are good. But what I'm thinking is I don't know, could they be promoted as more running shorts for like when we're doing Murph or when we're doing some of our uh, zone two long runs if they're a little bit looser, or
Hmm.
can they be reimagined for, I don't know, somebody else in that middle-aged bracket? This is where my ideas are currently going to see, like, how can we use this as an opportunity?
So I'll tell you, the material is not quite what I wanted because, like I said, it's a little bit loose. But to me, the waist is bigger. But I've thought about that because most middle-aged women have a bigger waist. I mean, that's just part of like being menopausal, et cetera. But I'm kind of fortunate. I'm a small waisted, so I'm kind of thinking like you, like how can I reinvent these, or either, should I just sell them for a less price? Should I give them to like a local charity, like maybe
Mhm.
for women who've been abused shelter, just something for them to be able to wear,
Yeah.
So not everything has to bring in money if you feel like sometimes you just need to try to help other people. So there's been different ways that I've been trying to think of how to use them if ultimately I get the pair that I want made. And I'm still working with that company to try to get the perfect pair made.
Mm,
So, it takes time. It's not like an overnight thing. So,
mm.
but I love that idea of what you're saying is of like trying to reimagine. But, I've spent a lot of time like thinking like, what can I do? I've been on YouTube because trying to find out from other people that have, had to
Yeah.
fix errors and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm always kind of going with these things of positivity, and if there is a mistake, well, how can turn it into an opportunity? Because sometimes we don't know what we don't know.
Hmm.
And you know, we can be so confident about things that, especially when we feel like we're a subject matter expert, that we kind of blinker ourselves to some innovations that we just couldn't perceive ourselves. So it almost forces us to go, okay, what are some different angles that I just didn't think about? And instantly my brain's thinking, I don't know, this in the UK, the body lotion Dove, the company, the healthcare company, their big campaigns is always about women and different sizes and
Hmm.
different sizes and different body shapes. And so my brain is like, okay, well, if these shorts are a certain type of fit, um, and that are more tailored to, maybe a bigger waistband,
Hmm.
well, okay, that could be great for pregnant women who, especially when we've all watched Cara Saunders and Tia Claire Toomey
Oh yeah.
all train through their pregnancy, and they've been very much an inspiration for me. And those
Hmm.
shorts might be better for them because they might still have like the athletics legs, but obviously their waistband's going to go a lot bigger.
Right.
So,
And
you know,
that's
these
exactly it.
yeah, so this is the spitfall of going on, and even if 25 go out as an experiment to do that, and 25 go to a local charity, because I love that idea, by the way, as well. I love that
Hmm.
it's not even nothing, not all of business has to be monetary. There is value in qualitative stuff. There's value in CSR. There's value just in um, helping another business
Hmm.
influencer or friend,
Hmm.
and that's the win of the day. So yeah, I really like that idea as well. But these, yeah, I'm just spitballing. This is how
Yeah, I
we
love
start to
it.
get into it and
Right.
think about new
And
things.
I don't have a partner really. My husband will help me, but I'm kind of like by myself as far as like trying to think it through.
Mhm.
So I really love hearing that idea from you is amazing.
And
So
do you find so you see a lot of business owners setting up businesses by themselves or setting up, you see a lot of partnership owners. Um, do you find not having that partner a challenge in the business?
yes, I'm kind of I've been told before that I like to be in control, so it's probably a good thing that I'm by myself a little bit. But of course, it's always good to have somebody else to run things by. And my husband doesn't really care about these kinds of like fashion that much. So what I have done is taken some of my friends at CrossFit. I've asked them to try the shorts. What do you think? So that's been helpful too. Um,
Hmm.
so you know it's a little bit of a challenge to be by yourself just because you kind of have to learn by yourself. Um, and interestingly enough, recently you've heard of Born Primitive, I'm sure.
Yes, I've
Yeah.
got plenty of Born
Yes, I've
Primitive
got lots of their
clothing.
leggings and bras. But they've been really kind, and I've talked to them a little bit because I started listening to their podcast from their first podcast, and so they kind of talked about the way they did things, and it's a lot of kind of what I've done is a little bit similar to what they've done. So I don't have any outside investors or anything like that. It's just me doing it. So
Mm.
you have to move a little bit slower when you don't have other people involved.
Yeah, but that's okay. Like you said, it's I'm the repeated message that I'm hearing from you is quality. And when we look at the resource triangle, you've only got time, money, um, was it time, money, and I can't remember the other one. And you will have to go slower if you want to keep that quality up. But if you keep that
Mhm.
quality up in a product, the product will just continue to sell itself. And
Right.
sometimes that path is actually the shorter path. It's the hare and the tortoise uh, scenario all over. You can go as fast as you can, but you might burn out and then stop, or you can go really kind of a more slower pace. Make sure things are right. You obviously balancing with you obviously you've got a family as well as maybe a full-time job, and you're learning new skills on top of that. you know Sometimes it's just enjoying the life that you've created is actually a part of that journey.
Yeah, it's you were kind of speaking earlier about, talking about some of the challenges. The biggest challenge for me is trying to have a small business and having a job in medicine because
Okay.
medicine is, being a nurse practitioner, I work at the second largest hospital in Georgia, and it's I work in a very busy practice, and so trying to find time. I mean, I CrossFit before I go to work because I don't ever know what the end of my day is going to be like. So trying to CrossFit and then manage, 3 social media channels for a small business because I mean, honestly, that's how you have to be on social media pretty much to some degree in order to have any following and to gain traction, right?
Mhm.
Um, and ads and things like that. So just trying to manage, doing reels and things like that is very challenging when you work a full-time job. Um, and I've actually talked about this with Deborah, who is Stronger Movement that you had on before. We've talked about this a lot of times, just what a challenge it is as far as managing family. And my son is grown. He's 20, about to be 26, but he still is living between here and Atlanta. And so, just trying to manage home and job and this small business, you don't understand what you're getting into sometimes until you're in it. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's,
So,
it's a common theme that does come up in the
yeah.
podcast.
And if you really want to do it, then you've got to really, you've got to work on it. You've got to be there for your business. You've also got to be there for your customers because there's things that are going to come up. They exchange things, or hey, when are you going to restock this shirt? Or so there's you get emails and things like that that you have to deal with as well. I've
Hmm.
been really fortunate I have had such great support from people all over the world, and just social media itself has been such a great thing for me, because I just got a message yesterday from somebody who got their hoodie, and they were like, this hoodie is amazing, I love it, and that makes you feel good, because what
Mm.
you like somebody else may not like, and so you're taking a chance, because a lot of what you make, and even in what you're doing, like as far as marketing for wide prep, it's kind of what's going on in your mind, and things that you may see that's going, that are popular, that you might pull from. But a lot of times it's things that you would want to wear, or so it's hard to read the crowd sometimes. So it's a good feeling whenever they like things, like items that you make.
No, that's really good because it sounds like you're really listening to the feedback of your customers. And I'm keen to dig into more about your experience with social media, and also like you mentioned in Reels, why mention Reels specifically about social media? Now you've got a great following behind you, and you've built a great community. So what are some of the top tips that you would give to somebody else looking to grow their following on social media?
So I know that you need to be on social media at least once a day. If you can do a reel every day, that's awesome, or at least do a reel 3 times a week and post on your feed every day, because things are moving so quickly, people will forget about you like that, right? The next great thing's coming along. And then stories are really important. But just communicating. And also, one thing I've found is reels, and when I show myself as like failing and not being perfect, and like I said, I jokingly call myself a remedial CrossFitter. Um, People relate to that, because there's the elite group of CrossFitters that we all look up to and we love. But most of us are just average people trying to manage a job, and, marriages and kids, and trying to work out amidst that, and trying to stay healthy. And so they kind of get it, when I talk about silly things, or about, make a joke about my workout partner or something that happened with us today, or just failing a lift. Like, you'll get a lot of response when you show the real you, and that you're not perfect. I mean, nobody is. And
Well,
you see a lot of perfection on social media, I think. Um, a lot of the pictures we see of fitness professionals, and not even necessarily CrossFit, but a lot of those people are that lean for that short period of time for that photo shoot, and then they're going to go back to kind of still eating healthy, but not quite that lean, and don't look as perfect. And real life isn't like that. Real life
yeah.
is it's just a series of little imperfect and perfect events, all kind of up and down, and that's what makes life so awesome. um
Yeah,
but people
I'm
relate to imperfection, I think.
oh, exactly. It's the typical quote of people do want to see you win, but if they're also not seeing that journey, if they're not seeing the some of the like lows or some of the failures as well, it almost those wins don't seem as great anymore. Because they haven't seen the hard work, they haven't seen the struggle, they haven't seen sort of that perseverance in the background. And I'm with you. I love posting my CrossFit fails on my
Yeah.
Instagram. Like I have no shame. I think last week's one was I've got such a scare. I'm so scared of heights, but we've got to climb a fairly high rope in CrossFit,
Oh
and
yeah,
so
I'm with you on
and
that.
so that's been my recent battle. So I was just like, I've been posting a few things over the last 6 months about me just trying to get higher and higher on this rope, and
Uh-huh.
I finally got to the top of the rope last week.
That's
So
awesome.
we got to the journey, we got there.
Well, I even think about doing a muscle up. I'm 11 years into CrossFit. I still can't do a muscle up. Am I really a CrossFitter? Things like that. When you share stuff like that, of course I am, but you know, I want to be able to do a muscle up, just one in my life, to say, yes, I know I can do it. Um, and side note, I'm afraid of heights. I'm a little nervous about, like, when you come up on the bar and stand up, like, how high do you feel? That scares me a little bit too, to be honest with you, because you could just go right on over.
I don't want to say it, but it's a legit thing. Like on the, when I first did a bar muscle up, I got to the top and I went, wow. And then you do get used to it. And then on I still I can do ring muscle ups fairly comfortably, but
Oh,
there are some
awesome.
days where I do not feel comfortable being at the top of the ring muscle up, especially when you're tired and you're fatigued. So you don't necessarily have that same confidence in your ability to keep going through and doing ring muscle ups. Yeah, it's a challenge. It that is it's valid, is what I'm saying. It's a very valid
Yeah.
reason.
Good, good. I'm not alone. That's the thing. That's kind of what my whole thing is like, I just don't want to feel like I'm the only master's aged person doing CrossFit. I want to have a community of people that are with me that like understand like the early pull on a power clean. Like, why do I keep doing an early pull when I know I'm not supposed to do it? It's just a deadlift, Michelle. Just deadlift it up and then get those elbows up. Do I know how to do it? Yes. Can I apply it? Not necessarily. And so just having other people to kind of like say, "Oh, I'm with you, like I get it."
Mm.
And joke with me about it is just really like I just love my little ageless athletics community.
Well, that's what I was going to say. How does that community around your CrossFit and around your business help you to keep going?
I mean, obviously, so one thing I think so somebody sent me a message the other day and I really should post some of these messages because they're just the sweetest thing. But somebody was like, "You just inspire me so much." And I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me?" Like that actually CrossFit with me would probably laugh at that, you know? But it's so nice to hear that, like, because I keep going, they'll keep going. Because I keep trying to get a darn handstand push-up, they'll keep trying to get one, because they know that I just want to get one muscle up someday, maybe they'll keep trying, you know? Um, I don't I don't ever like expect to do some of these movements in actual WODs. I just want to know that I can do them. Like I can do a rope climb. I can do it fine. But I'm not fast enough and I feel like it's just better for me to scale those actually in a workout, but I can do them, you know? It's
Mhm.
just it's just nice to know that there are other people out there that we actually inspire each other and help keep each other going. So they don't
Mm.
realize how much they help keep me going, you know, and motivate
Yeah.
me. And then when you
Oh,
see somebody wearing your shirts, Charlie, that's amazing. Like somebody in
well, just
Japan wearing a shirt.
I I was just about to say somebody I could say a stranger when a stranger is walking around in your shirt, something that you've designed, you've created, is the reason why a lot of us go into building our own business, just because that level of fulfillment, you just can't get that really from many things in the world. And you should be so proud. You should be totally so proud and celebrate that every time you see somebody wearing one of your clothing around the work. Like totally celebrate it because that's the end goal, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was very humbling, you know? I mean, I'm just some girl from Georgia, you know, just like all these other people that have started these great businesses that really CrossFit has helped us create. If you think
Mm,
about it, if CrossFit wasn't there, would I be doing this, you know? So that's just the impact that CrossFit has had not only on my personal life, but now I've created a business around it, and trying to navigate all of that. So it's really cool.
no,
And I've
I
met
love
great people like you.
it. Yeah, I was about to say we wouldn't have met. We definitely wouldn't have met for sure. I probably wouldn't even do this podcast because the reason why I was doing the podcast really is because I love to help businesses, but I had been traveling around the world. And I always postponed travel, kind of doing a lot of this travel lifestyle for quite some time because I didn't know how I was going to have a community around me.
Hmm.
Because I'm such an extrovert and I know how much of an impact being around people and talking to people has on my mood and just my mental health. And then I realized just by going into a CrossFit gym in all of these different locations, I've instantly made friends with these group of people who've got the same values, who've got the same mentality, just because they've they've been in CrossFit so long. So the egos get checked at the door. Everybody's so willing to help each other. Everybody wants to
Mhm.
be motivating each other. And everybody always wants to kind of keep in touch as well. Like you really do make friends. I don't want to be cheesy to say friends for life, but I've keep in contact with so many people now from across the world just because I've dropped into these CrossFit gyms and just connected with this community.
Well, that's so true, and honestly, I'm kind of an extrovert too, and that and being at a CrossFit gym and then having all these friends all over the world, it actually kind of satisfies my need to be able to socialize with people who are like-minded. And the 7 girls, all of us that got together for the CrossFit Games this year, I had never actually met any of them until I'd never physically met them until we met at the CrossFit Games, and it was just, an instant connection with everybody. And all of you guys, even meeting you that night, at the restaurant. I mean, it was just awesome just to, like, actually talk to people who you knew who they were, but you had never actually physically met them, and just the feeling of being around everybody that, loved CrossFit as much as you do and gets it, because not everybody gets it.
Yeah.
Um, but I totally understand why you wanted to do a podcast.
Well, that's the power of the brand. You know, that's the power of the CrossFit brand, and then the brand that you're building. Um, so I think one sort of final question: what is the vision for Ageless Athletics going forward? What's the big picture? Where do you want to take it?
That's funny that you asked that. I was actually thinking about that the other day, like, how big do I want to take this, because getting bigger involves bigger risk, right? And you really can't be somebody told me one time, you cannot be afraid and be in business. You have to be able to take some risks. And so actually with just doing some restocks and recently and making some new shirts that are going to be coming out, I've kind of taken my biggest risk as far as like spending money. And, so I feel like once I retire, which will probably be within the next maybe 3 years, that I will probably really, once I retire, try to focus mainly on Ageless and make it a much bigger brand. Um, I mean, it's already worldwide, so, but I would love to make it, to have shorts and bras and the shirts and just kind of trying to figure out what, like you said, like what your niche
Mm.
wants. So, but I would love for it to be really big.
That's
And
incredible. I mean, as a retirement plan, that's my favorite retirement plan.
yeah, because I can work what I want. And, just like what you're doing, you could probably actually really do it wherever you are traveling,
Yeah, yeah.
you
This
just
is
need a laptop.
that's what I've been doing for the past year, and I've only just now relocated and settled into a new place. But I've been able to do that because, like I said, I just carry my laptop around.
That's
I,
awesome.
I will work anywhere with my headphones. And yeah, because that's the beauty of technology nowadays.
Yeah.
So, final question then: what is one thing that somebody could buy from you for under $100 that will add a ton of value to their lives?
Oh gosh. Let me think about that for a second. So, I don't have anything that is over $100 yet. But so one of the things that I'm most proud of is I had a bra made for Ageless Athletics, like actually designed it and had it made in the United States. And it comes in red, white, and blue because I'm an American. And I really, if you ever notice, a lot of my colors are like navy and white. I kind of want you to be able to wear my clothes with each other. That's kind of my goal.
Nice.
Um, but I would say if you're a woman, one of my Ageless Athletics bras, because they are
Okay.
beautiful. And I mean, they really are. They are beautiful. I love those bras, and they're longer. They provide good coverage. They would provide value because women that are middle aged might be a little bit more modest, but they're still beautiful, and you can wear them with leggings or shorts. So that's what I would suggest.
Well, that's perfect.
And
And I know what I'll
obviously
be
the
doing.
ageless shirt.
Well, I know exactly what I'm doing straight after this podcast. I know I'm not. middle-aged, but I know I think it'll be still perfect. I'll be going online. I'll be buying my own Ageless Athletics bra, so I can wear it to the gym and represent. And that's what I'll be doing straight after this podcast. Thank you so much, Michelle. I think this has been so much fun. The time has flown by, and thank you so much for coming onto the podcast.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
See you soon.